Guys, today we have the A6700 versus the R8. A6700 versus the Canon R8. Which one is going to be better for you? Well, here's my take on it. If you're interested, check it out. Let's go. Talking about the A6700. Now, that camera looks awesome. All right, it really does. $13.99, pretty good deal for APS-C with all those specs. So I'm not downing that. But think about this. If you spend $100 more, $100 more, you can get a Canon R8. Now that's full frame versus the APS-C. Now I'm not, obviously you're not going to get all the same specs. But I tell you what, think about this. The Canon R8 for $100 more, it's got the full frame sensor on it. The same one as the R6 Mark II. That's $1,000 more than this camera, right? So you got full frame. And I'm telling you what, listen to this. I guarantee you, if you have the R8 with a 16mm 2.8 lens on here versus the 6700 with a wide angle lens, this stabilization with 16mm, and I've got another video, I'll link it in the video below. You can check it out. I'm telling you right now, this R8 is going to look better and be better for vlogging when you're filming yourself. Because the stabilization, it's a perfect combination that people don't realize. Think about it. The R8, it doesn't have IBIS, which some people think, wow, that's not good, right? Well, for photography or whatever. But it's never been an issue. But listen to this, right? That also means that when you put this on dynamic stabilization with a 60mm 2.8, right, you don't get the wobbles.
I'm feeling woozy here.
Right? There's no wobbles on the edges, right? Check it out. I got videos on it. There's no wobbles. So if you want a vlogging camera, and if you're going to spend $13.99, for $100 more, you can move up. And you're going to get 60 frames per second, full frame. And if you want, you can do the 120 HD, the 180 frames per second on HD. Now, yes, you'll get more specs with the brand new A6700 coming out like August 3rd or so. Which, they'll give you 240 frames per second. But how often are we really going to use that? Is 120 HD enough? Is 180 HD enough? You be the call on that, right? The one thing that Sony has on the Canon, of course, is the third-party lenses. So if you're going to stick with APS-C and you're never going to upgrade, okay, I can understand that. Get the Sony A6700, and then you can just get the lenses are slightly cheaper. Or there's a couple good full frame lenses you can use for it too, like the 28-200 Tamron for like $600 or whatever. That's an amazing lens, for really good reach. But if for the A6700, if you're gonna stick with APS-C only, then that makes sense. But if you're ever gonna move up into full frame, right? Man, why go full? Why do that? If you want to play around with APS-C, just get a Sony ZV-E10, right? Get a Sony ZV-10. If you just want it for talking head videos like this, you're talking $699, half the price of that other camera, and less than half of the Canon R8. But if you want it for strictly vlogging, Canon R8 in my eyes is a better camera because you're getting full frame, for $100 more. Sony really needs to come out with a full frame camera to compete with this R8. And I know there's a lot of people saying, well, the Canon R8 has the battery life. You know what? Buy 3 batteries. They're cheap on Amazon. You know what I mean? You can get like 3 batteries for like $30. I had one battery go bad on me. Of all the third-party batteries I've ever bought, I had one go bad. So what? Big deal. It was like $8. You know what I mean? It's like, but you know what? I have a dummy battery that I bought for $20. $20 dummy battery on the Canon R8. And it even has that little rubber inlet thing. So the dummy battery can slide right through there. You can shut the battery door perfectly fine. The A7IV didn't even have that, right? But the R8 does. Dummy battery, $20. You got unlimited power. I'm actually recording on 4K 60 full frame right now. Boom. I'm just saying. Now, the 6700 can do 4K 60, right? But it's still cropped, which I'm not saying. I kind of want that camera just because I want to play with it. I want to use it. I want to compare it to my ZV-E10 and see how much bigger of an upgrade is it. But as far as visual quality, in the last 3 to 5 years, guys, these sensors, they're really not leaps and bounds above the older sensors. They're really not. If you compare the ZV-E10 to A6700, if you compare those two frame to frame, picture to picture, especially in photos, you're not going to notice a difference really in photos. You're really not. You're just not. And even in the video, I mean, as far as 4K 30 and down, if that's all you're really going to use, just get the ZV-E10 and set it up on a tripod and you're good. The autofocus is amazing. You know what I mean? But if you want those extra specs, if you need those extra frame rates, you can move up. And, the AI processor and all that would be fun to play with, with the auto framing, that would be great. And I want to play with that. But I would like to wait for the ZV-E20 or, the next model down. Just so, why pay for features you don't need? And it brings me to the R8. I don't need dual card slots. I don't care if the battery doesn't last me all day long, because most of the time it's going to be in here anyway. And I did a whole vlog for almost an hour. You can watch those on one battery. It's fine. If you're not going to go out there and film 6 hours, right? Just throw 3 or 4 batteries. They're this small, right? People say, "Oh no, but I gotta have it." If you gotta have it, if you professionally make money on it, okay. But if you don't need a battery that lasts 3 hours. I'm just saying. Now, if you want it and you're willing to pay for that difference, that's great. But for me, you can do that. That's great for you. I'll save $1,000, slap a dummy battery in here, and I'm good to go. 4K 60, full frame, same video quality as the R6 Mark II, but I paid $1,000 less. For me, that's cool, right? Or if I want to use it for an event or wedding or anything like that, I'll bring 3 or 4 batteries, whatever. You're saying, "Oh, but it's an extra cost." Well, I bought a regular Canon battery. I don't know what it was, $40, $50. And then I bought like 2 the third-party ones. Fine. Never have a battery issue, ever. Don't need dual card slaps. Never have one go bad on me. Not one time have I had with a Canon or a Sony camera an SD card go bad. So I'm just saying, if you buy a good SD card, just saying. That's just me. Other people are other people. But for value-wise, the R8, great camera. I do want them to open up to third party, but I got, 4 lenses, 5 lenses now. It's really all I need. You get the 50, you get the 16, you get the 35, you get the 85. That's all I need. So even if they did open to third party, do I need anything more than that? No. Do I want to play with them? Yes, but I don't need any more than that. But
Baby, all I need is you.
I just wanted to give you my take on the A6700. Yes, it's a great camera. Yes, for the price, it's a good deal. But they have competition. R7, the Fujifilm XS20, $100 less. If you want to get into that Fujifilm system, if you're going to stick with APS-C, you got 3 hard choices. But for $100 more, you can move up to an R8. Just something to consider. And you can get the R8 on the used market now. You get it for less than you buying the A6700 new. Just saying. And the lenses you could buy used, save an extra $100, $200. So you might end up spending less getting the full frame. And you get the full frame look with a 1.8. That's what I have going on right now. Just wanted to throw that your way, give you some options out there, just get your brain thinking, because we get on that train, the hype train, man. And me too, man. I'm seeing all these reviews about the 6700 and how it's the most amazing APS-C camera. Well, yeah, it's the best Sony APS-C camera alongside the FX30. But I think it's better than the FX30 unless you're going to use it for a 100% strictly only video and you need that fan. Other than that, you're getting pretty much everything most normal people will need with the A6700. So I would buy the FX30, but that's just me. I got a little fan I can put on my R8 and run 4K 60 all day long, and I've done reviews on that. You can run 4K 60 till the SD card fills up, put a little fan on it. You don't know, I got my microphone in front of me, my little $25 Rode Video Micro Go. You don't have to spend a fortune, guys. You don't. You could do this with a ZV-E10 just as easily and be well under $1,000, and it includes the lenses. Shooting here on the Canon R8 right now, 35mm 1.8. Wanted to give you my 2 cents worth. If you have any questions, let me know. Who knows? Maybe I will get the A6700 just because I want to play with it. I want to, compare it. But I guarantee you the R8 is going to be, I don't care what anybody says, the R8 is going to be better than the 6700 in low light, okay? So if you're going to shoot in low light, I mean, then I would go with the R8 just because it's full frame. It just is, guys. It just is.
What?
I said, is that you?
I can't hear you. It's too dark in here.
They do have a benefit in low light. But if you're just taking pictures or whatever, you're going to notice for the most part anyway. You really aren't. Low light will make a difference in video for sure. But talking heads, ZV-E10 would do you just fine too. And you got options. But I do want to play with it. But anyway, just wanted to throw that out to you guys. I hope you guys have a great day. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the Canon R8 versus A6700.